Hello, how's everybody doing? This is Dance Around Music. Dance Around Music, we have another pre-lesson, okay? I'm still not ready yet, but it's almost there. It takes a long time. But one thing I'm happy for is that you can see, I mean, like, I have been working and how can I say? I'm talking about the project, the Dance About Music project. These are things I've been working on through my life. And you can see how long it took me just to get through this one stage, which I'm not even finished yet. So can you imagine? It's good because you get to see what you will go through or what you will have to go through. But as I stated in the other YouTubes, I take out, I can't say I want to say it just right. I take, oh, when you do something, just like when I'm doing this guitar thing right now, okay, I make all the mistakes I can, okay? And if you make all the mistakes, you end up with perfection, like, okay? So I've made all the mistakes, but I know which is the one way that works. So that's how it works, okay? And it's not trial by error. Because trial by error you get lucky. This one is not luck. It's just like you go through each one of the things and say, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. It's like, let me give you an example. See if I can give you an example. Okay. It's like, I'm going to try and give you an example. Let's just wait. I don't want to do that. Um, Let me see. Okay, how can I say? Okay, it's like a deck of cards. There's only one ace of spades, okay? And you go through the whole deck, but only it's at the it's at the end all the time, okay? And you don't know it. Sort of like that, okay? So you have a deck of cards and the ace of spades is at the end, and you know it's at the end, but you have to go through each card to make it to the end. So that's what it's like. So now we got to go to this thing. This one is not so structural because it's so much information. And like I said before, when something has so much information, you can't really like structure it. Which has happened a lot while we were doing this class. Let me just like to make myself look a little bit better. Okay, so now this one is gonna be on this, that, which, words like that. I forgot the name of the words. I should have looked it up before I did this video. I'm gonna put it in the description, okay? So, because I don't want to go on my memory because I want it to be exact. Things like that. How, where. That's where I started because I found where first. So we're actually talking about meaning, okay? And just like I told you in the other videos, this one is like you're getting closer and closer to yourself, to your surroundings. I mean, you have your house, you have a place where you live, you have your car, you have your where you work. But like it's like going, okay, like where you work, okay, and then your neighborhood, and then you go into where you live, and then you go through each room where you live, and then your bedroom or something like that. But it's getting closer and closer. So with those other things, you don't really have to think about it. You don't have to think about what does where mean. I mean, because you just access it. Another example is the things that are surrounding us is actually, we think of them as just material items. But in actuality, they're like, they assist us in our thinking. Because like when you go to bed, you don't have to worry about, you just go to bed. You go get a blanket, okay? If you need to write a letter, you just pick up a piece of paper. Well, we used to do that, and you write a letter. Or when you want to use your laptop, you just go and use your laptop. But this one doesn't. Um, this one, you have to know that. You have to know the where. You have to know what where is. Like, for instance, you say, "Where's my shoes?" And like I'm saying, the material items actually help you, because where's your shoes? And you always put them in a closet, so you go into the closet, okay? Where's a piece of paper? You go into the desk, okay? But now you don't have to worry about where. You don't have to worry about how, because you already programmed yourself. But this one is different. Now you have to start knowing with Dance Without Music. I mean, I'm just talking about Dance Without Music. And I always say everything refers to Dance Without Music, because that's my how can I say, not profession. That's my expertise. It's my expertise. Okay, so now, I want to get up off this chair and start doing what we have to do right now. Okay, so let me close this door. Okay, everything depends on the former videos. So now, one thing I want to stress though is the diagonal, okay? I don't know why I think I have to say something about the diagonal, because when we do the radicals, we can't use diagonals as far as I know right now. I think that when you do a diagonal, I'm almost sure, but I'm not going to say it unless I know for sure. But I'm going to use it because you may make a mistake using diagonals right now, but you can't. So I just want to say it. Like, I'm going to show you a diagonal, and then I'm going to show you a zigzag. So we have a diagonal. Okay, so that's a diagonal. And then I'm going to do a zigzag, okay, which is a diagonal one way, diagonal the other way. And, okay, I'm not going to say that. Okay, so that's like a zigzag and a diagonal. I can make the zigzag a little bit more noticeable. How would I do that? Okay, so I would do, because that was like a diagonal, but it only had two. To make a zigzag, I think it would have to be at least three. So. Okay, so that's a zigzag. And I used it because you could see, the diagonals going either way. But one reason why, which I said I'm not sure, I'm just saying this so that there's a few people who are really knowing what they're doing. So, like when you do a diagonal, you think that you're going like, there are so many lines, okay, like right now, there's lines that go all this way, because no matter where I move, there's a line that goes straight ahead. So when you do a diagonal, you're not stepping into the next line, you're crossing a lot of lines. So it's not, you can't make it inside you can't make it inside the radical, because the radical doesn't change, okay? And not just that, but when you work the diagonal, you get to know it better. I mean, when you work the radical, you get to know the radical, okay? But you can't do the diagonal, okay? Not yet, okay? Until I get down, I know that it can't be done. The only thing I know is if you're doing something, if you're doing, I have to say dance because it's dance about music. If you working the radical and you do a diagonal, okay, the only thing it seems like is if you have to take that. I'm going to mention something. I'm not going to. I'm going to explain it later. You take that one, okay. You're in a radical one, okay, and you take the place of your radical because you have marks in the radical. So if you're in a space in a radical, I'm cutting this and I'm going to start it new, okay? Forget about the one. I'm not going to say one yet. What I'm trying to say is if you move a diagonal while you're in a radical, the whole radical will move, okay? So you're not moving the radical, okay? You're moving the radical. You're not moving in the radical, okay? So if that makes any sense. I just want to tell you that's a little thing that is a big thing, okay? So if I'm in a radical and I'm moving in a radical and I make a diagonal, I'm moving the whole radical, okay? So it's like you didn't make a move. So I just told you that so you don't do it, and we're not going to talk about it now yet until I got it. It's a very powerful thing. So a radical, there may come a time when we can do that, but you have to know the radical very well, okay? Because if you step out of bounds of the radical moves with you, okay? If you do certain things inside the radical, the whole radical moves with you, okay? So that's just very important, okay? That I had to tell you. So now we're getting into, because I got this thing on I'm getting ready to cook something, and it's ready. I mean, it's not ready, but the oven's ready. So I'm going to finish this really quick. Okay, so now these are just some things that some of the things that I told you that this YouTube is going to be about. First of all, we have where, okay? Remember, this is one thing that you should know from the things that I've already told you. When you're in a radical, there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? You have to come up with where also. So I'm going to do a where right now. So where now, I'm going to stress it to you, is the where, okay? So you have where is the where. So I'm going to bring up, let me see which one is going to, okay. I'm going to try to show you an example of a radical 4. I'm going to bring up a radical 4 with the where, okay? Because remember, we didn't ever talk about this. We always assumed that we were at the back of it or the center first or in the corner, okay? But this is precision. So now we have to put that in. So when we put all the information in the function, that's going to be another thing that we have to add. We're going to add in the where. So I know where, and I'm adding in the where. And for reasons of, that numbers really don't go along with it, but I use numbers in algebra, like I said, and all the other ones, so that it just facilitates in the communication. So I brought up the function already produced the radical for me, and I'm in the radical now. So can I say? No. I'm in the radical. Okay. I'm in the radical. So it's radical 4. Okay. And I'm going to show you radical 4 would be like, okay, so I'm in radical 4. So if you noticed, because I was in radical 4, my where, I'm going to show you the where by the other spaces that I can utilize, the other marks. So I'm here, I can go here, okay, and I can go, let me see how I can do this. I can go here, I can go here, and I can go here, okay? So that's, so you know where I was in the radical, okay? Like I said, now you can see where the numbers are not going to help you. You just, when you bring up a radical, you bring up the whole radical. When you bring up radical 9, you bring up the whole radical 9. There's no communication in it, okay? When you bring up radical 25, it's the 25, okay? It's not going to break. So now I'm going to move, okay, how can I say this? Okay, I'm going to move the radical. Okay, I'm going to move the radical, and how can I say this? Can I move the radical without, let me see if I can move the radical without moving, okay? I mean, so I wouldn't be moving the radical. Let me see. Oh, okay, so I'm here in the radical. But one thing we know about the radical is that all of the spaces are equal, okay? So I'm trying to do something to show you that I moved the radical. Okay. So I would have to say that I'm moving the where, okay? So I'm going to move the where in the radical, okay? There, I moved the where in the radical, okay? Okay, so now this is showing a personality of the radical because I didn't really have to move the radical because it's pretty much, it's equal, okay? It's, the only thing I had to do is I moved the where, okay? So I didn't have to move the radical to move the where. Okay, let me see if I said that right. I didn't have to move the radical to move the where, okay? Because I can go back to where I was before and you can see that I'm in a different where, okay? And then I could move here, but I wanted to move the radical. But even if, no matter if I moved, so I moved the radical, no, okay, so that's what I'm saying. So I only moved the where, but if I move the radical again, so this is the personality of the radical. I'm just showing you the personality of the radical. 2 wheres I didn't have to move, okay? Because I wanted to move the where, okay? So I want to move the where again, okay? So I moved the where again, okay? And I didn't have to move again, okay? But the radical, but there's a mark here and a mark here. Before the mark was behind me. So there's a mark here and a mark here now because I moved the radical, okay? I moved the radical, I moved the where, so I moved the radical. So this is, now I'm going to have to clear something up, okay? Let's talk about, so we have the where, and this is, I'm just going to finish it this way because there's more, but I have to do it tomorrow because I didn't know it was this complex. So now we have the where, okay, and that's what we were talking about in the beginning. But I wanted to show you that I can move the radical, but we showed you that before. But they're both, but these two concepts are clashing, okay? Me moving the radical and me moving the where, okay? So I have to cut it and I have to split it apart, and I have to say either I'm going to move the radical or I'm going to move the where, okay? So first I want to show you, because we went over it before, I'm going to show you about moving the radical. So now what I've showed you, what we just did, if you can understand it, that's good, because it's going to help you and strengthen it, and you won't go through that, okay? So now we're starting over again with this, because I found something clashed, okay? And like I told you, it's not like you have all the things in your house, you know, you don't have to think about it. But this one, everything has to be thought about. But once you got it, you don't have to really think about it because you already know. Okay, so now the first thing I'm going to do, which we've done before, is move the radical. Move the radical, but I'm going to stay in the same where, okay? So now, but I have to show you, and then you will see, maybe you will see where I'm at in the radical, okay? Okay, so, and I can't tell you because this is inside meaning. Now you're inside meaning, okay? What things mean. Okay, so I'm in the radical and I'm in the where, but we're not going to worry about the where first because we have to clear up this moving the radical. So I'm in the where, and I'm going to move the radical, which is going to also clash with something else. Wow. Okay, but we're going to do it anyway. It's just, there's something else that clashed, okay? So I'm in this where, and that would mean I have to stay like this, okay? Which is going to bring up radical 1, okay? I have to explain radical 1 first. I'm sorry, this is just the way it is. Radical 1 has many different forms, but it still is 1, okay? Radical 1 can be like this. This is radical 1, which is the other quadrant. We have another radical 1, which is the between. I'm just showing you the basic radical 1s. This is the between quadrant, and it is radical 1. Then there, and this thing switches around, so it's a lot. And then we have the other, the natural quadrant, the right quadrant, natural quadrant, or the correct quadrant. That's another radical 1, okay? I'm going to say this, for now, every quadrant, every radical that we work in has a radical 1, okay? And that's your, I'm not going to, can't say anything else, okay? So now let's go back, and I'm going to move the radical. This time I'm going to move the radical, and now you know about radical 1, and I'm going to stay in the other quadrant. You can't move. It's just this quadrant, that's it, okay? I can't move for other reasons. You'll catch on later on. So now I'm moving the radical. I'm moving the radical now, okay? Radical 4, I'm moving it. I'm in the where, okay? And then I'm moving it. I moved it again. Okay, I'm moving it, and there's a space, there's a mark here, a mark there, and a mark there, okay? Now I'm moving it again, there's a mark there, there's a mark there, and there's a mark behind me. And I'm moving it again, a mark there, mark there, mark there. And then I'm moving it again, and there's a mark there, mark there, mark there, okay? So now you saw, and I explained it before, coming out of radical, don't worry about radical one now. Now you saw how I moved the radical. Okay, the function actually moves the radical. You saw that. And I just did that to show you again, because we went over that before, but this one is even closer to yourself. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the where. And I'm going to position myself now in a different where in radical 4. Okay, so, and so here I am in the other quadrant. This time you don't have to worry about radical 1, but you do have to worry about quadrants. So I'm in the where of the radical 4. I'm here, there's a space here, and one here and one here. Okay, now I'm going to move. Okay, and I move to the correct quadrant, or the right quadrant, or the natural quadrant. Okay, and now I'm going to, this is my where now. Now I'm going to switch to another where. Okay, I switch to another where in radical 4. And now I'm going to switch to another where. Okay, in radical 4. So I have the where, another where, a where, and another where. Okay. And remember, radical 4 has, it's, and this is for now, okay? It comes with radical 4, the other quadrant, the natural quadrant, the other quadrant, the natural quadrant. Okay, so that's your where, okay? And that's all I can do right now, okay? I wanted to go over all of them, where, how, and stuff like that. But that's enough for now, and we'll get into it. It's really something spectacular. It is really something spectacular. I don't know how... some people can see it. I don't know. I just hope that... I'm almost sure there's 1 or 2 people who really got it. I don't know, but they have it. Anyway, so that's it. Everything is, like I said, it's free. When something is free and something is so expensive and you don't know about it, pretty much because you don't know about it, it's because it's free. And I hope a lot of people take advantage of it because it's here now. So thank you very much. And I talk to you later. We got to come up with that. We got to do the how and all the other ones. How, which, then all of those. So stick with me. Bye-bye.